Archaeologists have revealed chilling new insights into the final moments of a real-life vampire. An elite young woman who met a grim fate over 350 years ago. She was unearthed in a medieval cemetery in Pian, Poland, and named Zosia by researchers. At just 18 years old, Zosia was buried with a disturbing twist. A sickle laid across her neck, and a padlock fastened to her toe. These unique burial practices hint at something sinister, a deep-seated fear that she might rise from the grave. New reconstructions give us a glimpse of what she may have looked like. Forensic artist Oscar Nilsson, known for decades of work reconstructing crime scene victims, collaborated with researchers to bring Zosia's face to life. Using a 3D printed replica of her skull, Nilsson carefully molded her face with clay and silicone, crafting a figure with fair skin, blue eyes, short hair, and one slightly protruding tooth, features that may have fueled fears that she was indeed a vampire. But who was Zosia, and why was she feared? Archaeologists believe her elite status is symbolized by a silk cap found with her remains, suggesting that she was well regarded, or at the very least she once was. The cemetery contained around 100 other skeletons, yet only Zosia had a sickle around her neck. Professor Darius Polinsky, one of the lead researchers, explains that these measures were a form of double protection against her rising. The sharp blade of the sickle would have ensured decapitation if she attempted to rise from her grave. A macabre yet effective safeguard against the undead. The 17th century was a time of turmoil and superstition in Poland. Eastern Europe had harbored a fear of vampires since the 11th century, when legends warned of the dead clawing out of their graves to terrorize the living. By the 1600s, vampire outbreaks were reported in Poland, and unusual burial practices become widespread. In the very same cemetery where Zosia was buried, other graves bore signs of anti-vampire rituals. Some corpses were found face down, others weighed down with stones, and a few even had coins placed in their mouths. Professor Polinsky notes that the cemetery was specifically for people considered outsiders, with no marked graves or records. The dead here were intentionally isolated, feared even after death. Among the graves were the remains of a child, partially exhumed, a woman with advanced syphilis, a pregnant woman, and a man buried with a child at his feet. Dr. Heather Edgar, a medical investigator, studied Zosia's bones and uncovered an abnormality in her breastbone that may have caused her considerable pain, a feature that to her peers might have marked her as different or cursed. With the Polish-Swedish wars raging during her life, researchers believed Zosia may have been Swedish, an unwanted outsider cast into foreign soil and fearfully labeled as a vampire. The cemetery, now known as the Field of Vampires, continues to draw attention. The latest findings are featured in a 2-part documentary, Field of Vampires, airing this Halloween season on Sky History. And as for Zosia, this new glimpse into her face and story attempts to restore her dignity, even as it sheds light on the chilling beliefs that defined her burial. So what do you think? Was Zosia a victim of superstition, or did her appearance and origins set her apart in a fearful time?